Hey everyone, it's Jake here. I'm just gonna make this video about the MCAT. I've been getting hammered with questions recently about what I did for the MCAT. And as you may know, if you watched my other video log or read the blog, I didn't get in my first round of applications to medical school, so I applied a second time. And so I think that's why a lot of people are asking me what I did, what my MCAT was, why I maybe not have gotten in the first time. I'm not going to tell you my scores or my GPA. I just don't want to discourage anybody, or I don't want to, you know, expose myself too much. But I did get above a 30 on my MCAT. I took it one time, and because I got above a 30, I mean, I was actually above the average. I didn't decide to take it again. So, and my GPA was also about average, a little bit above, but nothing spectacular on either of them. You got to keep that in mind. I didn't choose to retake the MCAT for a number of reasons. One, I looked at my application and saw other areas that needed improvement a little bit more. Like I said, research was one of those, and I think honestly for me that was really key in getting into medical school the second time around. It just opened up a lot more doors for me, experiences and whatnot. I can't say that just the research alone did it, but that was one of the big factors in my opinion. Again, I guess I should preface this with even though I got into medical school, that doesn't mean that I understand how to get into medical school. I mean, I did it, but uh, it's a very confusing process and a very big process, and something that I don't even claim to understand in the slightest, to be honest. So, but what I did for the MCAT, how I chose to prepare for it, it was a little bit of a stressful situation for me. I guess that's kind of all of my medical career, but um, I signed up to take it in February and decided that that's when I was going to take it because my son was going to be born in the beginning of February. So I figured I would have my paternity leave. I'd have 2 weeks to really just crack down and take it then. So as I got closer to it, I realized that I would rather spend time with my child than I would looking at MCAT books. So I postponed it to April and decided to take it in April. I had signed up for an MCAT prep class, something like Altius is big where I was from, but like a Kaplan course or something like that, and it was really expensive. I think I paid like $2,000 to $3,000 or something for it. And on the first time, they said you need to dedicate 30 hours a week, or else we can't help you. I couldn't do that. I was working full time, going to school full time, and had a kid, and so I withdrew from that class and just decided to study on my own. I bought the Kaplan prep books. A little bit different now because of the changes in the MCAT, but regardless, buy a prep book, buy something, and stick to it. I would caution you on using too many resources because you kind of get tripped up in information. But my biggest advice for you, though, is to take practice tests. You got to know the information, but unless you can apply that information that you're memorizing, it's not going to really do you any good. And that's a good way to prepare for medical school as well, in that medical school is a lot about memorizing information, but even more so applying that information. They're not going to ask you very simple one-line question and answers. They're going to ask you something, and you have to understand the concept and apply it to the question. And that's the same way the MCAT goes as well. So the thing that I did that I personally feel like helped me the most was bought the practice tests through the MCAT sources, as well as the Kaplan practice tests, and I went through and did those in testing situations. Also, I set up a routine to study, and not necessarily a routine in terms of like the time of day or days that I spent studying, but I would always have a Diet Coke with me and these Harborough gummy colas. I actually have them at home. I wish I would have brought them to show you, but just the simple little thing that helped me kind of remember, hey, I'm sitting down, I'm doing this, I'm having a Diet Coke, I'm having this candy, and I only ate the candy when I was studying for the MCAT. And then actually I took a Diet Coke and those same candies with me the day that I took the MCAT. So in the break, it was, I did something for me that made me feel like I was in a testing situation the whole time, so that when I actually took the test, it wasn't going to be a shock. It wasn't something new. It was me just sitting down focusing. So kind of to recap, applied to medical school the first time, got above a 30 on my MCAT, didn't get in the first time, didn't decide to take it again because I didn't feel like that was where I could improve the most. I mean, if you're above a 30, getting much higher than then your previous score might be a little bit of a challenge. I would say that if you're mid 20s or something like that, maybe if you sit down and really study pretty hard, then you can significantly improve your score, and that will definitely help get you in the door. But the MCAT's a brutal test. I wouldn't want to retake it, so I didn't. I focused on other areas of my application, and that worked for me. But in terms of actually studying for the MCAT, if you have the time and you can, I would do an MCAT prep course. I've got a few friends here that are teaching the MCAT prep courses while they're in medical school, and I really think that that's very beneficial because they understand the situation, they know the changes, they can help you out and help you focus where you need to focus. But on top of that, do your practice tests. Make sure that you kind of understand what the MCAT is going to require of you, and that way you can kind of better anticipate where you need to focus your time and help you integrate the information that you're learning. It's a hard test. I wish you all luck, and I hope you do well and keep in touch.